I'm breaking the song again? Yeah. Okay. It's great to be here at the Sunshine Coast, and it's great to be here opening up yet more markets. Markets for mangoes, markets for lychees. It sits on the back of record prices we're getting for cattle today. I was happy to see that in Roma the other day, 288 cents a kg live. So we're heading towards the $3 target that I set. But this is all about mangoes. Mangoes will start leaving this area probably in the next couple of months, almost immediately. Lychees will be looking in the next year or so, moving them out. This means the small crop producers and the tropical crop producers of this part of the world have yet another market to get more product moving from the sunny coast into the United States. We're doing our very best to make sure we get a better return through the farm gate. And these things don't happen by accident, they happen by hard work. We've been happy to make sure that we've opened up new markets in live sheep production, which is getting us record prices in sheep. We've opened up more than 6 markets in live cattle, which means we're now getting record prices in cattle. We've finished off 3 free trade agreements, which means that a whole range of production, horticultural production and other production, is now getting great prices. And I'm just really glad that from the cattle producers of Western Queensland to those on the sunny coast in the tropical fruits, know that we in the Department of Agriculture under a coalition government are bringing home the money so that they can get a better standard of living back to their house and a better future. To be here today and to taste some of the local produce shows you why other people in the world want to eat it. It's beautiful, it's fresh, it's green, it is top stuff, and I'm really looking forward to a greater return coming back to this part of the world, and I'm looking forward to that return being not only on the Sunshine Coast and tropical fruits, but also out west with the cattle, also down south with the sheep. And it just goes to show you that a change in government brings a change in opportunity and a better return.
What did you have to prove to the US to let them bring this fruit in? I know there's a lot of concerns about fruit fly. How do you convince them that it's safe?
Well, we've been doing a lot of work, especially with irradiation. The Americans were very pleased with the work that's been done in this neck of the woods in irradiation, which goes to show that we have the capacity to get this fruit out of here and clear of pests. This irradiation occurs locally. It's between here and Brisbane, and I think that was one of the clinching parts of finalising a process that started back when the coalition was previously in government federally. So this hasn't happened overnight, but it does happen under a coalition government.
Cheaper producing countries like Pakistan, India have had trouble getting mangoes into the US. Do you really think the US is prepared to pay higher prices for Australian mangoes?
Look, everything we do in agriculture is about quality. We know that if it's just on price, we've got other people around the world who are going to do it cheaper. But what we do is produce a quality product. When you go to the supermarkets in Riyadh and Saudi Arabia, or when you go to China, or when you go to the US, what sells Australian product is quality. And Australian producers know this. They know this in the lychee industry, they know this in the mango industry, we know it in the cattle industry, we know it in the sheep industry. We are not there to just be the best price, we're there to be the best product and get paid a premium price for the best product.
So lychees have a small window of opportunity to harvest their fruit. Do you think this will bring the price up, or do you have a kind of a price guide?
Well, I've been working in all facets of agriculture to get better prices, and what it shows is the prospect of getting greater sales because of greater exports has an upward pressure on prices. That's how we turn around the cattle prices, that's how we turn around the sheep prices, and this is how we're going to turn around prices in tropical fruits. That's how we're turning around the prices in dairy. It's all about doing more work to get a better price because you've got broader markets. Otherwise, you've just got a couple of producers domestically and they can just determine their own market price because they completely dominate the market. The way we get around that is to have export markets which we can supply into. So yes, lychees will have a better prospect because they've got a broader market, and mangoes even sooner than that. Mangoes into the US is something that can happen almost immediately.
What's this worth in dollar terms?
Well, with the markets, it's about $16 million worth of mango exports happened last year, and around about $4.5–5 million worth of lychees. So on the export basis, they're not big markets, but that's why we've got to put our energies into helping them grow. So we don't just concentrate on beef and sheep and grain and wine and dairy. We also go to the smaller exports in value, but they're just as important because these people who grow the lychees and grow the mangoes deserve exactly the same attention so that they can get a return back onto their kitchen table as well. So it's looking after the top end with the big exporters in the beef markets, coming to the other end and making sure that people on the sunny coast are getting a better return for their product as well, making sure that people know that it might be January, but we're still hard at work and we're still delivering.
You talk about you talk about new markets, but you've lost a relatively big one recently for fruit exports. That's Vietnam, and you've been pretty silent on that since that happened. What's the state of play?
Well, we haven't lost the market. It's in a process of negotiation. There's a whole range of things that happen in the background, but what we're making sure happens is that other markets are growing as well. We're in continual negotiations with the Vietnamese. It's not a loss of a market. It's a discussions about the protocols and
They've
of
banned
export.
$40 million worth of Australian produce.
But it's not on a permanent basis. It's on a process of negotiations about certain issues and certain specifications at this point in time. And this is part of the toing and froing that happens so often. But we make money out of having freer trade. We make money being able to find new markets. And just like a lot of, I imagine, mango growers in the United States would like to say, we don't want Australian mangoes in, or lychee growers in the United States would say, we don't want Australian lychees in, we either sign up for free trade so we can move product as long as it passes strict quarantine protocols, or we say we just believe in a domestic market and they're the only people we're going to supply.
But Vietnam raised these concerns with Australia's conditions to the World Trade Organization back in April last year. Could you not have prevented that ban if you had have got involved earlier?
No, we were involved all the way through. Our negotiations are happening all the way through, but we can't just, and I'm not going to go into the intricate details of it. I'm absolutely confident that our department, because I've been advised of this over a long period of time, we've been watching this space very closely, we've been part of the process, but we cannot just change certain outcomes because they're demanded of us. We have to go through the proper negotiation process.
So what are you